So here is the requested beginning yoga video. So in yoga, this is a practice of mindfulness. So we want to be conscious and aware of our breathing, and conscious and aware of how these movements that I suggest feel in your body. So if at any time anything feels really uncomfortable or unsafe to you, listen to your body. It will inform you. If you consciously breathe in and out, your body will tell you the poses that are right for it, and the body will tell you when maybe that pose isn't the right thing for your body, and that's perfectly okay. There's thousands of yoga poses, so we won't do thousands, but there are thousands. So not everyone will accommodate everybody in the way that's needed today. And it doesn't, if a pose doesn't work for you today, it might work for you next week too. So let's just have an exploration. And the goal of this is really to just feel better in your body when we're done. That's it, nothing else. There's no pose you have to do or no perfection you have to achieve. You just want to feel better in your body. And so move in a way that supports that. And remember, this practice is for you. It's to support you and make you feel more comfortable and at home in this body that we carry around. So we'll start by just taking a moment to close your eyes. And this may feel better to you laying down, especially if you have tight hips or knee issues. You can just fully recline down onto the ground. And if you have low back issues, you may choose to keep the knees bent. Feet on the ground, knees together. Or if the low back is less cranky, you can just lay the legs straight out. And we'll allow our eyes to just, before they close, just take in what's around you. Just begin to notice the light. Begin to notice if the eyes are still or if they're moving around a lot. Begin to notice the colors around you. And begin to notice the sounds that you hear as well. Maybe you even have some smells that are bringing your attention also. And just honor that as well. Just noticing your surroundings, noticing where you've landed in this moment. Maybe you feel a touch, you feel the mat underneath you, feel the air around you. And tapping into any other senses that are awake and alert right now. Begin to let your gaze be soft and easy. Maybe you even feel comfortable closing your eyes. And we begin to focus the attention on our breathing, beginning to notice the inhale, noticing the exhale, noticing how long or how short the breaths are, and allowing that to be one of our initial observations. Allowing yourself to also notice your mind. It may be jumping from thing to thing. It may be diving deep into ideas or thoughts. And just observe that, noticing how the mind is showing up in this moment. And then we begin to draw the attention to the breath. We begin to lengthen the exhale, allowing it to be a little bit longer than the inhale. We begin to feel that rise of the chest on the inhale and that falling back towards the ground of the exhale. We begin to just welcome ourselves home in our bodies. Sometimes our mind can be so disconnected from the body, so just allow it to come back, allow it to all be together. And if you're seated, go ahead and take that lying down position. We'll inhale, lie down, and take the arms sweeping up over your head. Reach through your toes. Fill up really long, stretch stretching the full body, taking a nice deep inhale, and as we exhale, we'll curl our knees in towards our chest, wrapping the arms around. Maybe the forehead even comes up to meet the knees. And then we'll let those feet come back to the ground, sliding the legs straight as we reach the arms overhead, inhaling. And then exhaling, drawing those knees into the chest, curling into a small, little tiny ball. And then we inhale again, taking up as much space as we can, filling up with breath. And exhaling, knees come to the chest. And then let's let the feet come back to the floor, about hip distance apart. We'll just begin to gently windshield wiper the knees to the left and then to the right. You can let the soles of the feet come off the ground, moving to the edges of the feet as you just give a gentle, low, slow twist in the spine. Nothing extreme. Just getting a little mobility into the hips. Warming up the pelvis. But continuing to draw the attention back to the breath. Landing in the breath. Let's stop when the knees are facing the sky. And then take that right leg and extend it to the sky. Maybe the knee stays bent. And we take the hands around the thigh and draw that leg in towards us. If it feels better to you and the body's open more in the hamstring, you may slide the hands up that calf, interlacing the fingers and drawing the leg in again. And just allow yourself to feel whatever you feel in this pose, whatever shows up. And if it feels like too much, back off, bend the knee more, let that leg come away from the torso more if that feels better to you. And if you want to, you can make some circles with your ankle. Painting a little circle on the sky with your toes. But trying to keep the movement from distracting you, keeping that attention on the breath. Good, one last inhale, and then exhale. And then we'll take our first two fingers and wrap them around your big toe. Maybe the knees bent a lot here. And then we begin to just extend that right heel out to the right. If you're feeling more fluid and open, that right leg may straighten. But try to keep that left hip grounded. Maybe even take your left hand and you place it on the left hip, just pulling it back towards the ground. The left hip will want to roll along with the right, but we're trying to create a little space by grounding through the left hip and reaching out through that right heel. Finding your breath again. Just noticing where this pose is showing up in your body today. Bend the knee, bring that leg back in. We'll see if we can cross the right ankle over the left knee, taking a figure four. We may press the right palm into the right thigh to rotate that thigh out a little bit. Or you might just float that left foot off the ground and wrap your hands around that left knee, hugging the left knee towards your chest as you press that right knee away. And settling in and feeling your low back grounding out to the ground. Feeling that exchange, inhaling and exhaling, drawing in breath and then letting it go. And then we'll release the hands. Let that left foot float back down to the ground. Arms out to the sides of the body. And we're going to let both knees drop over to the right. We're going to leave that right foot on the left knee if possible. Or if that doesn't feel good, let it just drop off. So we're getting a nice spinal twist here. We can look over the left shoulder, twisting the neck. Continuing the attention on the breath. Inhaling and exhaling. Nice. And then let's just let that right foot slide off the left. Bringing those knees back, facing the sky, feet hip distance apart, and just rock the knees to the left and the right again. And you'll just notice how far they go in your range of motion, right? Just, it may come to the floor, the thighs and knees may not come to the floor. Just noticing. Also noticing one side may be different than the other. You may feel something different. Range of motion may be different. Just honoring all that without trying to shift and change. Just allowing it to be. We'll come back with the knees facing the sky. Let that left leg extend up and we'll interlace the hands behind the thigh. The knee may stay bent. Or if your range of motion is a little more, you can just slide the hands up the calf. And keep pressing that leg away from you as the interlaced fingers draw the leg towards you. And the hamstring begins to wake up. You begin to sense and feel the body. And we try to suspend judgment. Try to suspending the thoughts about good or bad, tight or loose. Just letting that leg be, having that experience of sensation. Right, there's nowhere to go. There's no gold medal in yoga. We just want to feel better in our bodies. Allowing that inhale through the nose and exhaling through the nose. The yoga breath always through the nose. Good. And then we'll bend the knee. Take that first and second finger, hook it around the big toe. And then you can begin to extend out through the left heel, taking that left leg over to the left. Right hand comes onto the right hip and draws it back down, and we begin to stretch the inner groin muscles. So in yoga, we work on flexibility and also stability. So we want to engage the muscles of the leg. We don't want to be just dropping out of the joint or into a joint. We want to be strong and opening up space. And you'll notice the body just finds its range of motion, right? You get to a certain point and that leg just stops. And you have enough sensation in the pose to bring you to awareness. And then you just hang out there. If the knee is straight, we'll bend it. Bring it back in. And we'll let go of the toe and cross that left ankle over the right knee. Left palm pressing into the thigh. And then if you want to take that right foot off the ground and interlace your hands around that right knee, you can. And press the left knee away. So that left hand threads under the left calf. And we can just notice how this feels. Does the left side feel different than the right? And we try to leave our head and shoulders on the ground. So natural tendency may be that we want to pull up, but lay the head and shoulders back down. Breathe some breath into that left hip, and just imagine that breath swirling around the hip region, just opening it up. And then we'll release the hands. Let that right foot come back to the ground. Spread the arms out to either side and let both knees drop over towards the left. Try to leave that left foot on the right knee. We're letting it slide off, taking a twist in the spine, looking over the right shoulder. And you notice maybe that right knee is not on the ground, that's fine. But just feeling something through the back body as you're twisting around. Feeling that breath fill up the rib cage. And then let it empty. And let that left foot just slide feet planted. Bring your arms in by the sides of the body and walk those heels in towards the hips. Then we're going to press the feet into the ground and begin to curl our tailbone up, lifting through the chest and the hips, so that eventually we're just pressing the shoulders and the back of the head into the ground and lifting through the heart center. So we're strong in the legs, strong in the glutes, pressing the earth away with the feet and shifting forward towards the top of the mat just slightly to lift through the heart and arc the spine. Breathing in and out through the nose, letting the belly fill and empty with air. We'll stay here a couple more breaths. And we'll begin to lift the heels and we'll roll down through the spine, laying the spine back onto the ground. We'll grab behind the thighs, and we're going to begin to roll up and down the spine. So rounding the spine a little bit, find a little rock and roll here, a little playfulness. And then we'll stop, sitting on the hips. Draw those knees in towards the chest. You can leave the feet down, or you can take the feet parallel to the knees, or you can extend the legs straight. And now we're going to float those arms away from the body, out into a V-shaped, hugging the belly in and up. Working our core a little bit, strengthening that center space. We're going to shift the arms over to the right, reaching out through the arms. Nice, take a long, slow breath in, long, slow breath out. Bring those hands back through center, and then take the arms over to the left, reaching out through the arms, pressing out through the heels. Belly draws up and in. Take a long, slow breath in. Long, slow breath out. Come back to center. Bend those knees. We'll cross the feet and we'll come to standing. So in yoga, we want to try to line up the shoulders with the hips and the heels. So oftentimes we'll stand either with the spine bowed forward or we'll stand with the heart collapsed. So we want to roll those shoulders back. Pull them down, reach to the top of the head so the neck is long, engage the front of the thighs, press down through the feet, pull the belly in. So the hip points and the bottom of the ribs are in line with each other, straight line. And then just keep your gaze soft, looking forward. This is mountain pose. I tell everyone this is grocery store pose. So when you're standing in line, your 6-foot distancing, you can root through the feet, roll those shoulders back, and do some long, slow breaths. Nice. We're going to move through some sun salutes. So we're going to inhale and take the arms up over our heads. Bend the knees and fold forward. Be mindful if you have tight hamstrings to let the knees bend a lot and let the top of the head drop towards the ground. And we'll pause here, separating the feet, hip distance apart, interlock the forearms. Just begin to sway a little bit to the left and a little bit to the right. Beginning to unlock the low back, beginning to engage those hamstrings. And grounding through the feet, releasing the spine so it's nice and long. And then we'll come to neutral. Finding stillness. One long, slow breath in. Long, slow breath out. And then release the hands to the floor. Walk your hands up to the shins, or perhaps all the way up to the thighs. Lengthen your spine. Pull the top of the head away from the tailbone. You can keep a bend in the knees. Exhale and fold. Press down through the feet. Reach the arms out and up. Arms together overhead, pull the hands down to heart center and close your eyes. Take a breath in and let that breath out. Inhale, take the arms up and overhead. Exhale, hinge at the hips and fold. Inhale, halfway lifting, hands on the thighs or the shins. Exhale and fold. Root through the feet. Inhale, reach out and up. Exhale, pull the hands to the heart. One more time. Inhale, reach out and up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale and fold. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. Exhale, pull the hands down to the heart. At this point in our practice, let's take a little attention to the part of the body that we really need some extra love, extra care. And send a breath, an energetic intention to heal and restore that part of the body. And then we'll draw a breath in with the intention to restore and balance the whole body, every cell. Nice. Let's open our eyes. Reach the arms up and overhead and clasp your left wrist with your right forefinger and thumb. We'll take a side bend over to the right, lifting out of the left hip, stretching the left side body, filling up with breath. And exhaling. Inhale, come back through center. Take the right wrist with the left forefinger and thumb. Pull that right side body long and stretch over to the left. Root through the feet. Breathe through the right ribs. Come back through the middle. Exhale, hands down. We're going to take a chair pose. So with feet separated hip distance or feet together, whichever is most comfortable for you, we're going to bend the knees and sit the hips back. We're going to leave the arms parallel to the floor, sitting the hips back so much that the weight's really on the heels and very little weight is in our toes. Nice. Then we're going to inhale, sweep the arms back. Exhale, come all the way up. Take an inhale, and then exhale, bend the knees, sweep those arms back. Inhale, come up. Exhale, bend the knees, sweep the arms back. Belly draws in. Inhale, lift up and extend. Exhale, bend the knees, reach back, stretching the shoulders. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, reach back. We're going to stay here in our low chair and then sweep those arms back forward, lift through the chest a little more. Take one long, slow breath here, engaging those legs, building strength in the calves and the thighs, stability in the hips. Lower those hands down to the ground, and let's step the left foot back. We're going to curl the toes under. Good, pressing back through the heel. Hug the belly in, hovering over that right thigh. And then get really light in your fingertips and begin to lift the body up. So shoulders stack over our hips. That might mean bending the back knee to get those hips tucked under and release the low back a little bit. And then reach up through your fingertips. Notice the shoulders. Can you relax them any? Big stretch in that left psoas, also building strength in the legs. We're pressing down into the right foot. Right knee is hovering over the right ankle, and we're pressing back through the left heel. Hands come down to the floor. Press into the left hand and reach the right arm up to the sky, twisting around. Noticing all those cracks and crunches that might be articulating the spine. And trying to get that spine really long for the twist. Come back, dropping that right hand down. Reach both arms forward as you hover the chest over that right leg. As you press back through the heel. And then inhale, lift yourself back to your lunge. We're going to straighten both legs and spin your toes to the long side of your mat. So we're standing in a straddle. Reach the arms up and overhead. Then we're going to bend the knees, reach the hands for the outsides of the ankles. Letting your head drop down. Allowing the spine to be long, knees can stay as bent as the hamstrings are asking for. And then we'll walk those hands in the direction of the right ankle, getting a little stretch in the left rib cage. Letting that head hang heavy. Rooting down, pressing down into the feet, and engaging those muscles above the knees so the thighs are engaged. Walk those hands through the center and take them over to the left. Stretching through the right ribs. Balance balancing your weight between the balls of the feet and the heels. Now walk those hands back through the middle. Bend your knees, spin your heels in and your toes out. Come up for an equestrian stance. Trying to get those hips down low in line with the knees over time. Hands come to the knees. Stretch the left shoulder towards the right knee. Come back up. Stretch the right shoulder towards the left knee. Inhaling up. Exhaling, stretch. Inhale up. Exhale and stretch. Inhale to center. Exhale to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale, come up. We'll take just one more breath here. Good, and then we'll straighten those legs. Spin the toes to the front of your mat. Step yourself back to a plank pose. Curling the toes under. Letting the hips be in line with the shoulders. Belly draws in. Pressing back through the heels, reaching through the top of the head. And just breathing here. Building strength as you press down. Building heat through the breath. Good. And then we'll slowly lower all the way down to the ground. Let the hands rest by the sides of the chest. Release the tops of the feet to the ground. Engage your legs so much that the kneecaps begin to lift off the ground. And then inhale, peel your chest up. Cobra pose. Pull those elbows down and back. So we're strengthening the back body. Extend long through your neck. Gaze is just soft on the floor. And take a few breaths. Just noticing the effort to hold yourself here, right? Being present. And we'll slowly lower down on the next exhale. You can turn one cheek to the ground, release the hands, and just take a breath here. So let's bring the hands like tents to the side, outside of the mat, off the mat, and a little bit in front of the shoulders. Press the tops of the feet into the floor again. Inhale, peel your chest up. And then we're going to dip that right shoulder towards the mat as we look to the left. Inhale, come up. Dip the left shoulder down as you look towards the right shoulder. Inhale up. Taking a few more of these movements with your breath. Lifting up as high or as low as feels comfortable in your low back. And then we'll lay the other cheek on the ground, arms by the sides of the body, and just take a little rest. Let's curl the toes under. Bring the hands by the sides of the body. Begin to press yourself up to a plank. Take a couple breaths here in plank. Pressing up through the heels, reaching to the top of the head. And leave your arms stacked, wrists under the shoulders for plank. So we are supported by our skeleton. One more breath here. And then we'll lift the hips high. You can bend the knees. And take what we call a down dog. So the feet can walk in a little bit or walk out, depending on what feels better in your body. The hips are lifting. And the hands are pressing down. So we're trying to get really long in the spine. Your heels may be off the ground. Your knees may be bent. And then we'll go ahead and walk those feet forward to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthening the spine. Exhale and fold. Root through your feet. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Take your right foot to the back of the mat this time. Right toes tuck under, right heel is lifted. Good, engage those legs. And then we'll slowly lift off the fingertips, coming to our lunge on the other side. Maybe the knees bent, maybe the knees straight in the back, depending on what feels right in your body today. Left knee works in the direction of the left ankle, so we're pulling energy forward and back. Left knee's pulling forward, and right heel is pulling back. Relax your shoulders. Just find your breath. Find some stability in this pose. Plant that right hand firmly, parallel to the left foot, and then we'll reach the left arm up to the sky, twisting our spine, looking up to the left fingers. Pulling the top of the head away from the tailbone, lengthening through the spine as we twist. Let that left hand float back down. Take those left arms back behind you, and then sweep them forward. Belly parallel to the left thigh, building strength in the legs. One more breath here, and then we'll inhale, straighten both legs. Spin the toes to the long side of your mat. Let the right hand float to the right thigh and reach over, stretching the side body. Left fingers reaching to the right. Come back through the middle. Left hand reaches down, right arm reaches up and over. Side bending to the left. Inhale, come back up. Both arms reach up. Bring the hands behind you, clasp the palms. Pull the hands down and back. And then we'll lift through the chest. Taking an inhale, lifting the head up, looking up, opening through the throat and chest. Exhale, knees can bend, fold forward in your straddle, letting your head reach for the ground as the hands reach overhead. And then spin those, release the hands to the ground. Spin the toes back to the long side of the mat. Step back to a plank pose. Slowly lower yourself to the ground. Take the arms out to the side like airplane wings. And inhale, lift the chest, the arms, and the legs off the ground. Reaching up and out. Find your breath. Lower those hands down to the ground. Lower the chest. And then hands in, press yourself to your plank. We'll take a couple breaths here, building strength in the legs, in the torso, in the shoulders, and in the arms. Building concentration. And then lift those hips up, down dog. Take your right foot, step it between your hands. That may mean a couple steps, that may mean moving that hand out of the way. And then we're going to spin the left foot in line with the back of your mat. Right knee is over the right ankle, and we're going to come up to a warrior two. So it's a deep bend in that front knee. And we're going to reach the right arm out towards the front of the mat, and the left arm towards the back of the mat. We're trying to leave our shoulders over our hips. So instead of reaching forward, we're going to try to pull back a little bit through that left hand. Good, opening up through the hips here, building strength in the legs. We're going to flip the right palm to the sky and then lift the right arm up and overhead, looking back towards the right fingertips as they reach for the back of the room. One more breath here. And then bring the right elbow onto the right thigh and reach the left arm over your head. Keeping a nice deep bend in the right knee. And then let the hands come down to the ground. We're going to take the back foot and hop it in. So we're going to make about 3 feet distance between, 3 foot distance between the 2 feet. And then we're going to rotate the right hip back. Inhale and lengthen. Maybe the front knee's bent. Fold forward to a pyramid pose. If the right hamstring is open, you might straighten that right leg. Reaching the forehead for the shin. Long spine. And then we're going to step that left foot to the front of the mat, opening up the feet. And then we'll spin the toes towards the outer edges of the front of the mat. Bend your knees, let your hips come down. Bring your hands together at your chest. goddess squat. So keeping some energy in the legs, like you could spring up any moment. Good, trying to pull the tailbone down and reach up through the top of the head, opening up through those inner hips. Strengthening the shins and the ankles and the feet. Belly draws in. And then plant the hands on the ground. Lift those hips back up. We're going to take that right foot, step it back for our warrior two. Right foot is in line with the back of the mat. Left foot is pointing to the front. Left knee over the left ankle. Reaching the arms forward and back. Keeping that body level over the hips. And then let that right palm face the sky. Lift that right arm up and overhead. Reversing your warrior, reaching back. Good. Coming back to your warrior two, arms extended. And then bring that left arm onto the left thigh as you reach the right arm over your head. Stretching from your right ankle through the shoulder, through the elbow, through the wrist, and through the fingers. And then bring those hands down to the ground. Step the back foot in a bit. So a much shorter stance here. Left knee can stay bent. We're going to pull the chest out away from the legs and then fold out over that left leg. Head is just heavy. Neck is long. Nice. And then let's step that right foot up to meet the left. Inhale and halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Root through the feet. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. Exhale, pull those hands down through heart center. We're going to play a little bit with balance. So we're going to go ahead and stand on both feet. Root through the feet, engage the thighs, roll those shoulders down and back. And then we're going to float the right foot off the ground. So the knee is coming straight in front of the hip. We'll take those arms overhead. Pull the fingertips up as you're pulling down through the tailbone. Just notice all that adjusting on the left foot. All those micro adjustments that are made to keep us balanced. And then we're going to let those hands float down. Take the right knee and take that knee out to the right. If you want to do a tree pose, you can take a hold of the right ankle and bring the right foot into the left thigh, pressing foot and thigh against one another. And then you can bring your hands to prayer. Or if you'd like to take your hands out like branches of a tree reaching out, you can do that. And just find one point to gaze at. Something that's not moving that will help you stabilize. Good, and then we'll slowly, if you're holding the knee out to the side, draw it back. If you're in tree pose, bring that knee forward. Then we're going to come to an airplane pose. So I'm going to have to rotate myself around so I don't kick the wall. And we're just going to begin to slowly move, navigating our balance by taking the arms back like airplane wings and the right leg straight back from the right hip. The left leg is strong. There can be a little bend in the left knee, but we're really holding ourselves up with our core strength and with that left leg rootedness and right leg strength. Take one more breath here. If you fall out, just come back in. And then bring that foot back to your standing with the knee extended out from the hip. And then let that foot come down. We'll take it on the other side. Root through your right foot. Engage that right thigh. Let the left knee float out from the left hip. Finding balance by stacking the shoulders over the hips, hip over the heel. Pressing down through that right leg. Reaching up through the top of your head. Noticing if one side is more wobbly than the other. And just checking in with that. Then you can grab the left knee and take it out to the side. Or you can take your hand down to the left ankle and bring it into the right thigh, taking tree. Leaving the hands in prayer or taking them up to tree. down through that right foot. Lifting those ribs up away from the hips and trying to relax your shoulders back down. Finding a moment of grace, even as you're falling, a moment of grace. Good, and then slowly bring that knee back in front of you. We're going to begin to take those arms down if you're an extended tree, and then begin shifting. Arms reaching back as that leg begins to reach back for airplane. Soft bend, maybe in that right knee, and then you can work on straightening. Belly draws up and in, and just find one point to gaze at. One steady, stable point to anchor to. And then slowly make your way back up, knee in front of the hip. And then place that foot down. Close your eyes and let your arms settle by the side of the body in mountain pose, and just feel your body. Notice your breath. Inhale, sweep those arms up and overhead. Exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lifting, hands on the shins or thighs. Exhale and fold. And we're going to bend the knees and make our way down to our seat on the ground. So we're going to sit down and root those hips down. Maybe your knees are bent here. We're going to take an inhale and lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold ourselves forward. That might mean the hands are on the ground to pull the spine longer. If the hamstrings allow, you can straighten the legs. Breathing as you inhale and lengthen the spine, and exhale, begin to try to surrender. See where you can let go, what you can soften. Right? In our culture, we think more is better. We think harder is better. Tougher, stronger. But softness is where we get the release. Right? There's so much we could soften. So much we could let go of. To be more full, to be more complete. Inhaling, long spine. Exhaling, folding again. Softening, softening with each exhale. And then we'll walk those hands back in. Take the right foot against the left thigh. You can let the left leg come off our mat out to the side. So it's not coming straight out from the hip, but it's coming off at an angle. And then we're going to walk those hands towards the left thigh and begin to walk those hands out towards the foot. So you'll feel a stretch in the right side of your low back. And then if you want to take a hold of the foot, you can. You can bring your forehead down to touch the knee, rounding through the spine. Landing wherever makes sense in your body today. Not going too far and not going not far enough, but finding that right place. That place where you can be present and feel sensation and really find that link to the breath. And then walk those hands back in. We'll take the left foot in, right leg goes off the mat, out to the right at a 45-degree angle. Sit up nice and tall. Take those arms up, rotate towards the right leg, let the hands come down, and then begin to walk those hands towards the right foot. And you'll notice you may go further than the other side, or you may not go as far. Just noticing that. Right, we see the imbalance, and then with each breath and with each practice, we begin to find more balance and more harmony in the body. You can bring the forehead to the knee if that feels good, rounding through the neck. And then slowly release, walking those hands back in. Bring both feet to the floor. Feet about hip distance apart, knees bent, hands behind you with the fingers pointing towards the hips. And then we're going to just begin to press the hands and feet into the floor so that we can lift the torso up. Stretching through the shoulders, letting the head drape back a little bit, exposing the heart. Take one more breath here, pressing into those hands and feet. And then let those hips come down to the ground. We'll straighten the left leg and step the right foot over the left leg. Take the right hand behind you. Left arm wraps around the right knee, pulling it up and in towards the chest as we begin to twist, looking over the right shoulder. Getting a stretch in that right glute, lengthening and rotating through the spine. Then uncurling yourself, letting that right leg extend out, taking the left foot in, and then stepping it over the right knee. Left hand behind you like a kickstand, right arm reaches up, wraps around, hugs up and in. And then we begin to twist. You may feel a little stretch in that left glute as you begin to twist around. Sitting up nice and tall, weight balanced between both hips. And we'll slowly untwist. And the last pose we'll do is a butterfly. So we're going to bring the soles of the feet together. And then you can draw those feet in towards you. So if the hips are really open, the knees might be on the ground. Depending on the structure of the head of the femur bone into the hip socket, the knees may never touch the ground, and that's okay too. We just want to feel something in the inner groin. We want to lengthen through the spine. We want to sit up nice and tall and use our core to support us as we root down. Just finding your breath, bringing that attention back to breath. Seeing where you can let go. And one more cycle of breath. Now let those legs slide out. Congratulations! You did your first yoga practice. We're going to finish with a resting meditation. So we're going to just extend the legs out or bend the knees, as we did in the beginning. Just letting the body be supported by the ground, palms face up. And maybe let the eyes close. Take a long, slow breath in through the nose, and then just let that long, slow breath release. Return your attention to whatever part of the body was calling for some extra love and attention, and send it there. And then on your next inhale, draw in and send love and attention to every cell of the body. Regenerating and renewing all of yourself. And then we'll just settle in for a few minutes of silence and stillness. slowly begin to move your fingers and your toes. Bend the knees and pull those knees into your chest. And just roll to the left and right, massaging your spine. And then we'll lay down on one side and just pause there, making a pillow with your arm. And then slowly placing the hands on the ground, pressing yourself up to seated. Cross the legs, bring the palms together, heart center, and close your eyes for a moment. Take a breath in through the nose and just slowly let it go. Feeling the completeness and wholeness that this connection to breath creates. Knowing that you are whole and complete in this moment and in all moments. We close our practice with the word namaste, which means the highest in me sees and honors the highest in you. Namaste. Thank you. You survived your beginning yoga class. Wonderful. So listen to your body, drink a bit of water. You may be releasing some toxins, so drink some water to clear that out. And then listen to your body. And if there's poses that may not feel good in your body, you can eliminate them from this practice. You can add other things if you want, but give it some time for your body to get used to. It takes a bit of time just to get used to these kinds of movements and sensations in the body. So hopefully you feel better now than when we started, and we look forward to seeing you on your mats again soon. Give me some comments so we can adapt and adjust accordingly. Have a great night or day. Bye.